Hi every Marvel gamers, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to see every highlights in the Marvel Mystic Mayhem's breakdowns. So this is the live test version. So maybe they will change and introduce new highlights after the global launch. So from here we have so many highlights. So we see one by one. So first here we have Wow to protect. Here we have initial stats. The wearer's outgoing healing increase by 32% after using a skill or ultimate move that heals. They gain 1 mana. From this, if you after using a skill or ultimate move, you will gain 1 mana and you also gain outgoing healing increase by 32% initially. So here we have maximum stat. The wearer's outgoing healing increased by 48% after using a skill or ultimate move that heals. From these highlights, I will cover every class and every characters in the game. So choose carrot characters and carrot class for every highlights. So these highlights for only for the controllers. In my opinion, my recommended choice is Sleepwalker. So next up we have is Guardian of Reality. This is only for controllers. For this initial stat, the wearer's HP increased by 16%, the nearby allies attack speed increased by 8%, with the effect doubled for summoned units. So this is the initial stat for this highlights. So my recommendation for this highlight, go with Man-Thing or Thread. So these highlights max stat for the wearer's HP increased by 24% and the allies attack speed increased by 12%. So make sure you use the correct character like Man-Thing or Thread. So next up we have is Friends on Street. This is only for a striker characters. So the initial stat is the wearer's attack increased by 16%. The wearer deals 6% more damage to debuffed enemies. My recommendation for these highlights, Misty Knight or Storm. So this highlight max stat is wearer's attack increased by 24% and wearer deals 9% more damage to debuffed enemies. So make sure you use it correctly. And next up we have is a hired blade. Initial stat is the wearer's attack increased by 16%. After the wearer perform a follow-up attack, their attack increased by 10% for 10 seconds. So in my opinion, my recommended only one character for this highlight is Lady Bullseye. So use it that character. So here we have this highlight max stat is the wearer's attack increased by 24%. After wearer perform a follow-up attack, the attack increased by 15% for 10 seconds. This is a max stat for these highlights. So make sure you use it on Lady Bullseye. So next up we have is Adapt and Evolve. This highlight is only for controllers. So initial stat is the wearer's outgoing healing increased by 24%. In my opinion, this is good for healing characters who give outgoing heal to allies. So my recommended character is to give like Emma Frost or Sleepwalker. So here we have maximum stat. The outgoing healing increased by 36%. So next up we have is Weavers of Dream. The initial stat is the wearer gains 90 ultimate energy at the start of the battle. Highlight only for controller characters. My recommendation of the character is Dream Queen because Dream Queen have ultimate skill damage. So here the max stat is the wearer gains 140 ultimate energy at the start of the battle. Next up we have is Make a Dream. This highlights only for strikers. The initial stat is the wearer's critical rate increased by 16%. My recommended character is Scarlet Witch or Misty Knight, maybe Lady Bullseye. You know the Scarlet Witch having critical rate buffs and damage buffs. So here we have max stat is the wearer's critical rate increased by 24%. So use the correct character for this highlight. So next step we have is Ancient Allies. This is only for a striker characters. So here the max stat is the wearer's attack increased by 18%. So my recommendation character is to give it to like Lady Bullseye, maybe like Storm. So use the correct character having attack increase. So here the initial stat is the wearer's attack increased by 12%. So use the correct character for these highlights. So next up we have is Hear Me Roar. The initial stat is the wearer's attack increase by 1% up to 30% for every 1% of HP lost. So here is the max stat is the wearer's attack increase by only a 0.5%. So my recommended character for this highlight in the fighter class we have Mr. Negative. So next up we have is by Cyttorak command highlights. I think this is only for a fighter class. The initial stat is the wearer's attack increased by 20% for 15 seconds after they use their ultimate move. So my recommendation is used to on Juggernaut because Juggernaut already having a tanky defense. So if you use it on Juggernaut, you will able to get a benefit on him. So this one is second option for the Juggernaut if you don't have Blessing of Vishanti. So next up we have is Never Surrender. This is only for a defender class. The initial stat is the wearer takes 8% less damage if their HP is below 50%. So my recommended characters, you can use it on any defender's class. My recommended like Hulk, Angela, Armor 2. Use these characters for these highlights. So next up we have is Light in Darkness. This is only for a defender's class. So the initial stat is the wearer's defense increased by 12%. The max stat is defense increased by 80%. So if you lacking on defense in defender's characters, give it on those characters. So next up we have is in the Crimson campaign, Strike Out. The wearer's attack increased by 16%. When an enemy adjacent to the wearer is defeated, the wearer recovers 5% of their lost HP. So I think this one is fighter class. So my recommendation is to use on Moon Knight, maybe to Psylocke. If you don't have these two characters, maybe you will try to give like Black Knight and Echo too. So next up we have in the Game of Khonshu store Threats of Hatred. Here the wearer's attack increased by 16%. After the wearer uses ultimate move, the summoner unit deals 20% more damage for 15 seconds. You will know if you look at the highlight image, you will see there is a thread they will give, it is only for him, so use it on a character thread. So next step we have is Eye of Nightmare in the Nightfall mode. So here you will get many materials to awaken and other highlights too. So here the next highlight, Warpoint. The wearer's enemy generation increased by 24%. The wearer gains 30 ultimate energy when they perform a follow-up attack. So I believe this is only for a fighter class. So my recommendation to give a character like Echo, not only for a image the highlight have, you will gain maximum potential from this. So next up we have Selfie Time. The stat is Allies attack increased by 5%. Allies skill that cost 2 mana or less deals 8% more damage. So I believe this is only for a controller characters. So my recommendation is use on a characters like Dream Queen. So next up we have is the awaken materials in the shop in Nightfall. You know, if you need to awaken the highlights, we have to need those highlights duplicates. So make sure use the materials to grab the highlights awaken materials in the Nightfall shop. So make sure use it correctly. So next step we have in the highlights in Dream Pass rewards. So here we have 4 highlights to complete the Dream Pass to get these highlights. So here first one is Great Minds. This is only for a striker characters. The max stat is the wearer's critical rate increased by 30%. If the wearer's skill cost 3 or more mana, they deal 50% more damage. For these highlights, I will recommend to use on Storm. Next step we have is Great Responsibilities. This is only for a defender class. The max stat is the wearer takes 18% less damage. When the wearer's HP is below 50%, the effect doubles. So my recommendation use on Angela or Armor. So next up we have is Time for Workies. This is only for a controller characters. The max stat is the wearer's HP increased by 24% after the wearer uses ultimate move. Refunds 60 to 120 ultimate energy randomly. So my recommended for this highlight, only give it to Dream Queen. Maybe if you don't have Dream Queen, give it to Emma. So next up we have is Ambition. This is only for a fighter characters. The max stat is the wearer attack speed increased by 36%. After they use a skill, the attack speed increased by 30% for 15 seconds. So my recommendation is give it to Black Knight. So next up we have is in the Dreamweaver shop. So here no strings on me. All allied defenders defense increased by 10%. All allied fighters attack increased by 10%. And all allied strikers critical rate increased by 12%. So my recommended character is use on like Dream Queen, maybe use on Falcon. So next up we have is Rise like the Phoenix. Here the wearer's critical rate increased by 20% for each allied character of a different class on the field. The wearer's attack increased by 2%. You know the character who having the critical rate buffs and attack buffs. So my recommendation for this highlight is give it to on Scarlet Witch or maybe Lady Bullseye. So next up we have is Rising from Ashes. So here we have the wearer's attack increased by 16%. After using a skill or ultimate move to move, the wearer deals 10% more damage for 10 seconds. So my only recommended character is Psylocke. So next up we have is Hell Out. This is only for a fighter class. Here the wearer's attack increased by 16%. The effect doubles if there are no more than 2 enemies on the field. So my recommendation is to give one Doppelganger or Mr. Negative. So next up we have is Touched by Khonshu. This is only for a fighter class. The wearer's attack increased by 16%. Their energy generation increased by 16% if there is another allied defender or fighter. So for this I will recommend to give on Moon Knight, maybe Mr. Negative. So next step we have is Stand Strong. So this is only for fighters I believe. So here the wearer's HP increased by 16%. For each ally near the wearer takes 10% less damage. For this allied I will recommend to give on Hulk. So next is Monster Within. This is only for a defender class. Here the wearer's HP increased by 16%. Enemies adjacent to the wearer deal 8% less damage to the wearer. For this, my recommended character is Sentry, Hulk and Juggernaut. If you don't have these characters, maybe you will try to give it on armor. So next is we have Learn from the Best. This is only for a defender's class. So here the wearer's defense increase by 16%. It also increases by 4% for every 5 seconds after battle starts, stacking up to 5 times. So my recommendation is to give one armor. So next up we have in the Dreamweaver shop. So here we have 4 legendary highlights. So first up we have is Blessing of Vishanti. This one is only for defender class. So here the wearer's HP increase by 10% after using their ultimate move. The wearer gains a shield equal to 10% of their HP. The wearer deals 8% more damage and taken 8% less damage while they have shield. So my recommendation is to give one Juggernaut. If you don't have Juggernaut, maybe you give it to like Sentry. You can also try with other defenders who don't have shield in their skills. So next up we have is the Worthy ones. This is only for a fighter class. Here the wearer's HP increased by 20%. The wearer's attack increased by 8% for 5 seconds after they lose HP. So my recommendation is to give it on Thor. You know there is a picture like Stormbreaker in the highlights. So my recommendation is also give it to on Thor. So next up we have is Fight as One. Here the wearer's attack increased by 20%, critical rate increased by 16% if their HP is above 80%. So I believe this is only for a controller characters like Doctor Strange, Emma Frost. So my recommendation is to give it on Doctor Strange. Maybe you will try with Emma if you don't have Doctor Strange. So next up we have is Ancient Frontier. This is only for a controller characters. So here the wearer's enemy generation increased by 30% after the wearers uses ultimate move. Allies critical rate increased by 16% for 10 seconds. So my recommendation of these highlights, give it to one Emma Frost. And you also try with Doctor Strange. You know Doctor Strange already have a buffs in his skills. So I will recommend to give it to Doctor Strange also. So I believe I covered all the highlights in the game. Remains the 4 of 1 here, the spider one. So give it, this is only for a spider one I believe. You know Spider-Man don't have other highlights to give him. So next up we have is Iron Man. This is only for Iron Man I think. So next up we have is Scarlet Witch image highlights. So this is only for Scarlet Witch I believe so. So next up we have is Thor image covering the highlight. So this is only for Thor I think and I believe. So this is the highlight. These are the highlights in the game now. Maybe you will expect other highlights will come on global launch. So that's it for today's video. Stay tuned guys, I will post everything about the Marvel Mystic Mayhem guides and gameplays in this channel. So I will catch you in the next Marvel Mystic Mayhem video.
A lot of weird stuff in here. I fit right in. Yeah.